Easily done, isn't it?
Yeah, especially as YouTube now comes up saying live streaming isn't available at the moment, even though I know it fucking is, and
It's
that it's
lying.
live
Like
right
messing with you.
now.
Yeah.
Is it
It
delayed?
literally is trolling. It's trolling me, man. You got Iron Brew.
I love
Oh,
it, man.
mate.
I love it.
I'm kind of jealous. I mean,
It's
I've got a
good stuff.
brew, but I ain't got an Iron Brew. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not the same. Well, I do like other types of brew though.
Yeah. Well, welcome everyone to episode 8 of the Bunch of Phonies podcast. We are some of the Phonies. We may even be joined by some other Phonies soon. We've been off for a couple of weeks, and there's been plenty going on. There's been a lot going on. Not to mention the fact that I am fully Samsung at the minute. You know,
That
Samsung
must
hating
feel
me.
bad.
Fully
Yeah.
Samsung feels terrible. Yeah. You're running the S23 Ultra at the minute as well, Manos, right?
Yes, but I'm essentially only using it for taking photos. I don't
Yes.
photos, Instagram, X, and Telegram. That's all that is on the phone.
Well, what's funny is that's probably the weakest part of the phone.
It is, yeah. That's the funny bit. That is the funny bit.
No.
What? And Joe, you're still rocking the S24, right?
Yeah, I'm enjoying it, mate. It's just again the camera's not exactly to my liking. Not to say it's rubbish because it's not a rubbish camera, but everything else about the phone I love.
I can do that as well. I can do that as well. I'll go like that.
Well, we're on my Pixel, so I can't show you that. I'm sorry.
I'll do that, and then I'm gonna go and do that.
I left my Sony next door.
Mate, the Sony with no case on though, it just feels like it's the perfect. I
It's
can't
It's a
beautiful.
explain
beautiful
it. It just
phone.
feels perfect to use.
But like I say,
Um,
the fingerprint position is too perfect. So without a
it
case,
really is.
I
It sounds
unlock it too
crazy
easily.
saying too perfect.
Yeah,
And you guys have the green one, or
I've got the green one.
I
Yeah,
had the green one, but when I swapped it out for the iPhone, didn't I? For a few
yeah,
months.
the
yeah,
green one is
And
just
then
perfect.
I went back
it's
in
gorgeous.
to swap it, and they didn't have the green one in.
Mm.
So I was like,
Uh,
okay, I'll take the black. Which, to be
I
fair,
mean,
still looks clean as hell.
Yeah, of course, it's not bad.
It's
It's just
still
the
to be
green
honest, in
one
nice.
some
stands out.
lights, they don't look too different.
And
It's only
honestly,
certain lights.
I would really like the platinum.
No, I've
I
never
Mm.
seen
really
that.
like that color. It just looks so nice. But
Mm.
green's my color anyway. So like most of the photos I've got of the Xperia are of the green model. So which I do post every so often on Twix, as you probably notice.
Mm.
Been up to much last couple of weeks, guys? Been doing anything apart from
Working,
taking photos
Work,
of people in the street,
work.
Manos?
working and taking a lot of photos whenever I get the chance. I think at the moment I must have. Let's see. Uh,
A million photos
thirteen
of young
hundred
females.
1,350 photos in my gallery. Oh man, yeah, I've been going very very hard, but it has been fun. I'm not gonna lie, it has been fun. I'm really enjoying it. I'm trying to make the most out of it, and yeah, it's just great fun. Taking and then editing the photos, and especially in the morning when Ernie wakes me up at 5:30 or 6. We just come downstairs, sit on the couch, and while he sleeps, I'm just editing his photos.
Jeez. I mean, how are you? How are you getting? I know, obviously, you got the Pixel as well, haven't you? So, um, how are you getting on with the camera on the S23 Ultra by comparison?
Um, to be fair, I haven't really done any comparisons between the two.
I
There
don't
are
really know. I don't mean not necessarily comparing it, but
uh,
like, are you sort of getting on with the cameras okay? Like, does it feel like you're sort of missing out by not using the Pixel?
it does feel like that, especially when I use the 3x. Because the
Mm,
Pixel, even with a digital 3x, I feel I'm getting more detail and a cleaner picture. Of course, with the motion blur and everything. Um, in general, I feel I'm getting a sharper image from the Pixel, but it doesn't really matter because most of the times I'm just gonna use now Pro or Expert RAW, um, which the quality is decent. But Auto,
Yeah,
whenever I've tried to use it, it's mixed results. Not because of the colors, because I always edit everything.
you have to.
Um, yeah,
Yeah, you do. You
like
just
the one that I posted this morning with the couple walking down the street holding hands. That was an auto shot, and there was a little bit of motion blur. I had to do quite the editing to make it look better. And even then, it was so so, especially the hair of the girl. Um, but I don't know, when you really take the time to play properly with Pro and Expert RAW, the results can be very good.
yeah,
Um,
for stationary subjects.
yeah. And I used to properly own the S23 Ultra in the past before going, 15 Pro Max and Pixel 8 Pro. And I was happy with it
Yeah,
because I knew its pros and cons. I could play around its weaknesses. Gcam was working just fine for me. And take exclude the camera. Everything else with the phone works flawlessly. Runs pretty cool. Doesn't overheat. Doesn't dim.
battery life's fantastic.
Battery life is
Battery life is the one for
fantastic.
me.
It's so
It's
good.
the best one. Like for phone things, I don't think
Mm.
anyone can touch it. Like, and it has to do with Snapdragon. That's the thing because
It is, yeah.
I was always comparing it with the Exynos S22 Ultra that I had before, and it was like night and day. It felt like a 10-year improvement.
I have
Like
to
the
correct you there. It's a Snapdragon for Galaxy. It's a special edition one.
mm, true because it's
Mm,
overclocked.
Yeah.
slightly.
I don't know. I was
Slightly.
just so impressed when I was comparing the two. And I can still see the difference, because I still use the Pixel when I'm at home for editing sometimes. It's just I like the way it feels in the hand. Um, and yeah, it's just I don't know. The S23 just flies. It just flies. It's a little bit heavier, but overall, I don't know. I just like the way it deals with things. Yeah,
Yeah,
and I was like,
I kind of like I really like the screen.
mm,
It
Oh
just
yeah.
feels quality. It's bright. It's just nice to use. Obviously, it's got the Snapdragon, so it just whizzes. But one thing I always notice though when I go back to the Pixel is that it just feels faster because the animations are quicker. So it's like
true.
Mm.
you feel like you do everything much faster than you do on the Samsung because like the gestures and things just feel so much more smoother and just faster.
If you
Um,
put on Samsung the 0.5 for the animations, everything feels even faster, so it's fine.
mm,
Yeah, I do
Uh,
that for every phone I have.
yeah, me too. It's just it feels better. I
Yeah.
do it even on the Pixel. And what I wanted to say is that you really need to try the S24 Ultra Dan just to see it. If you could just get your hands on it some way, the screen is phenomenal. Everybody was saying about the anti-reflective coating and all that, and it's just that was maybe the most impressive thing to me. I was like,
really,
wow. I was like, wow. It was really a wow factor for
I
sure.
am I am going to get it and soon, but I
I
will
Okay.
have
have
to swap
taken my
out.
screen protector off, to be fair,
I have to swap
because
out the Xperia for it, which I'm
yeah.
willing to do for a while. And then we'll see how it sort of compares.
How
You
long's a
took it
while, Dan?
off, eh?
How long's a while?
Oh,
3 months.
well,
So
3 months should be around ballpark for when the new Xperia is coming out.
I
So,
was gonna say the times, perfectly.
I mean,
Mm.
it might be less than 3 months.
Mm.
We'll see. I was told that I can switch whenever I want, so
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
perfect.
um,
you've got the anytime switch up, haven't you?
got the old one,
Mm.
yeah. So, um, I might see how I go, and then maybe switch to the Xperia 5 Mark 5 before, like a month before the
Okay.
new Xperia comes along. So we'll see, we'll see.
I'm thinking
But
about selling my Pixel.
really,
It feels
Um,
like the whole group wants to
because
do
you've got the
that.
S24 Ultra and you're not using the Pixel.
yeah, but I'll probably then swap my Sony for a Pixel to keep it for a little while, and then until the new Sony comes out.
I think the new Sony is going to be really good. I really do,
Yeah, I'm
and it
definitely
looks
getting
like.
it.
I mean, we can
Definitely.
probably talk about that a little bit today because there's been a few rumors.
Mm.
That are pointing to some fair changes, some that I'm not necessarily
Not too
keen
keen
on,
on,
but
yeah.
we'll maybe see. But Honestly, this last week I've just been addicted to playing Helldivers 2. It's about all I've done.
I really
What's
need to
that?
play this. I've seen a lot
Mate,
of creators that I
so
follow.
good.
It's amazing.
It's almost like Starship Troopers in game form. Where you just
Oh,
squad up and you just hunt bugs and also robots, and you just basically fighting back the hordes. It's great,
Okay.
like 4-player co-op
Also, it's 4
matchmaking.
players. Okay, so
Yeah, yeah,
definitely we
yeah,
can play me, you, and
yeah.
Mark in the same team.
yeah. Me
Okay.
and Mac have already played it together.
Oh,
Like
Okay, cool.
we
Joe,
played it on
would
what
the
you be
first
up
platform?
time
for
we
it?
played it. We both played it together. Sorry,
What platform
I
was
was
on?
asking Joe if he would be up for it if the 4 of us.
it's PC and PS5,
I have both.
I
and
have neither.
it's only 35 quid.
Okay, not bad.
They're not even charging full price game for it. It's amazing.
Oh man, I need to get myself a PC or PS5 then.
X Elite. How far is it?
We can
Well,
talk about actually. I don't know if it's going to be suitable for gaming in that respect, but
No.
that would be interesting actually. It all
no.
depends what the developers do.
Because the thing is, like with Macs, you can't really game on them very well, unless you've got like a dedicated GPU in there as well, which the Apple Silicon ones don't. Other than just
Depends
See,
on the
using the GPU.
optimization because to be honest with you, when I had the M1, I
Mm.
was able to play World of Warcraft in almost high settings.
It's World of Warcraft, mate. It's been out for
Yeah, forever. But
forever.
you say that, but my previous laptop, which was a high-end Asus ROG Strix 3, it was a 3K machine with what was it, RTX 3090, or no, sorry, 38 probably.
Still pretty decent.
No, it was horrible. It was getting 90 degrees, playing WoW. The fans were
What?
going like 6K.
That just doesn't sound like it was running as it should be. Because that's
Bro,
kind of.
I don't
I
know,
mean,
maybe.
I had a laptop. I had an Asus RG laptop that was a strict SCAR one. And it had a 3070 in it, and I was playing Final Fantasy 14 at like 100 odd FPS, like in max settings, while
Yeah.
streaming.
I don't know.
So
I
it's
just
just
went and I
kind
put
of weird.
everything on max for World of Warcraft, and it was just 90 degrees, super loud. I mean, it was very
The
thin.
fans do get loud.
I don't know if you have seen that generation. I think it was the, I don't know, 2021. I think that was the year. And it was so loud and so hot. I'm like, for what? For WoW? What is this? Anyway, I just returned it after a week or so because it bothered me so much. You know,
Mm.
I got a tower, which I eventually sold because it was taking so much space. And ever since then, I just got this Acer Nitro, which is massive.
Oh, the
Uh,
Nitro, yeah.
but it doesn't get hot. It doesn't. The highest temps that I've seen is like 70 something.
Mm-hmm.
It runs quietly. It's very good
Well,
computer. The-
I had the Mac Studio
okay.
at one point, before I built the new PC, and I had that for like 6 months. I think, well, not even 6 months, probably less. That, as far as I remember, they had the M1 Max in it, and I believe that it could run Final Fantasy 14 around 60 FPS.
Okay.
Which again, Final Fantasy 14 is like a 10-year-old game.
Mm.
So for something like, for your modern games, you've got no chance. And I think Snapdragon X Elite is going to be basically the same in that respect.
Yeah, I was listening to TK1 earlier though,
I
and
meant to watch that.
one of the engineers let slip that there is a possibility you could have a discrete GPU with it.
I was thinking that.
That'd be cool.
Potentially. That would be good.
Mm,
Very
Mm.
interesting.
indeed.
I mean, you only look at like what Nintendo have been doing with like Nvidia and their, like, with the Switch and like the upcoming Switch as well. Like, there's some decent graphics power in there if you can unlock it, and if you've got like a dedicated system for it, it's possible. That'd
Yeah,
be cool.
I think X Elite will be quite capable though.
Yes.
Because the multi-core, it's 12 cores, isn't there?
Yeah.
So,
And it's Orion cores, so they're not. Yeah, they're beefy.
well, we've got to remember though, this is the
Super
first
beef.
X Elite. Like,
Yes.
what's it going to be like in 3 years' time?
Yeah.
Second generation is going to be interesting.
And if it's as revolutionary as M1 was, then it's going to be, very promising.
Yep.
I think for Windows, it's going to do exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
I think it's just
100%.
going to,
Yeah, because
I
at the
mean,
moment
I
the
wouldn't have
battery
bought a Windows
drains.
laptop. I honestly, I'd have preferred to buy a Mac just because of the silicon.
Yeah, unless you have the i9 MacBook Pro, the portable toaster.
I've got a Core i5, I think it is,
mm,
MacBook Pro from
yeah.
2010 or 11 or something like that. That's absolutely terrible and can't do anything on it anymore.
This is the one that I showed you, is the 2019 i9. No, sorry. Which year did it come out?
Does that get a bit hot?
It does when you push it.
Mm.
Because I'm using it to edit videos, from the holidays with the camera that I have, the DJI Action 4.
What now?
You hear the fans go up, sure,
You
but
still edit on it now?
saying
You edit on it now? Still?
at the moment, no. I say I use it
Okay.
when we go on holidays, not right now.
Okay.
But I'm still using it as something to edit because it has a
Interesting.
very strong GPU. Yeah.
Mm.
So yeah, it's just it gets hot. I played some.
I'm surprised you don't just edit on your phone.
Yeah.
The
I was going to
phone
say
gets
that.
too hot. I don't like it at all. I tried to edit even with a CapCut, however this app is called,
CapCut,
and
yeah.
it was getting very hot. Both 15 Pro Max and 15 Pro Max, they get hot to the point that
Well,
it bothers me.
it's interesting because I actually saw a tweet from Dale Von
Okay.
yesterday, I think it was, and he was talking how when he's editing photos in Lightroom on the iPhone, it gets really hot.
I concur.
Yeah, which is
I
weird,
wouldn't
right?
say very hot, but it does get hot to the
Right.
point that you feel it.
But then imagine doing video editing.
Yeah. No. I only tried
So
once. It was too
it's just
hot. I stopped.
interesting. It's just interesting. That's all.
Especially when
Because
he's talking about the tensor being so bad for that.
I'm not joking. I enjoy editing the pictures on the Pixel more than on the iPhone because it doesn't get as hot. It
You
does
said
get
quite a few
warm.
times.
It does get warm for sure, but not as warm as the iPhone because the iPhone has a very strong chip. It has zero cooling.
Too strong.
So the moment you push it, because it can really give out more power, it gets way hotter. And then
It's
it
weird, isn't it?
throttles and it
Well, this is
lags.
what makes me laugh with Apple, though. They don't want people to actually use the power. I don't know why they bother putting it in there.
And I remember, sorry for quoting them, but Max Tech, if you remember, they were playing the Diablo game, or I don't remember which other game, and they put it like on a big screen and everything. And in order for the phone to actually have a sustained performance, they put this Razer fan on the back.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, that was like
Yes.
the only way to get it to have some sort of sustained performance and being usable. I don't know. I never played a single game on the iPhone because it would always get warm. I remember since just forever.
Sure, I'm surprised Apple haven't cashed in on that. Made their own fan. Double the price of
True.
Razors.
Yeah, they could have made like a MagSafe.
The Magic
fan.
fan.
Yeah.
The Magic MagSafe fan.
MagSafe fan. Jesus Christ.
I don't know. I really don't understand why they don't want to put a proper cooling solution in it. I just
we don't have Neil here tonight to talk about his Nothing Phone 2A.
No.
But we do have Michael Peppertech here saying that he's enjoying his Nothing right now.
It looks so cute, I have to say. That phone looks very, very cute.
I thought you were talking about Michael Pepper.
Michael MPT looks cute as well.
He does. Hello, MPT.
Just to be nice, like we're nice people.
We are nice people.
We're nice people. I do like the design of the 2A, to be fair. I think it's a nice looking phone. I know a lot of people made fun of it because it sort of looks like it's got intestines, but
yeah,
at least it stands
for
out.
someone
as
like me, that
something
probably
more
makes sense.
innovative. Yeah.
For someone like me, it probably makes sense. We should probably get into some topics. Well, biggest news this week has to be the US government. I didn't expect this at all, to be honest. It just came out of the blue. The US government looking to, well, they are going to sue Apple, apparently.
I was really shocked by this, actually. I didn't expect it, didn't see it coming.
For having an illegal monopoly over smartphones.
They just noticed.
Yeah, well, they've finally caught up. So this is over on the Verge, but Department of Justice claims Apple has maintained an illegal monopoly over the smartphone market by locking in customers and making experiences worse for rival products. No shit. iMessage anyone?
Yeah. I mean,
iMessage?
it's going to be good for the US market, especially, I think.
Well, it'll help everybody. It should help
Yeah.
everybody.
But the thing is, I still believe that it's not gonna shake the consumers and the average user at all. They're not gonna even look at it.
I don't think necessarily for the most part, but I
Mm.
think it's just more a case of having that option there
Yeah.
and being sort of more pro-consumer rather than sort of, all these dodgy practices. But like the government points to several different ways that Apple has allegedly illegally maintained its monopoly, disrupting super apps that encompass many different programs and could degrade iOS stickiness by making it easy for iPhone users to switch to competing devices. Yeah, I mean, obviously, there's not a lot of Apple's own apps that are on Android, right? I mean, they've got Apple Music.
Yeah.
I think that
There's
might be
not many. That's about as far as it goes.
I think that might be as far as it goes, but
Apple TV
when
now?
it comes to Android, when it comes to Android, absolutely everything is available over on iPhone.
Yeah. Well,
all the
did you hear
Google
that,
stuff, all the Google stuff's available.
Apple are looking at doing a deal with Google for Gemini, aren't they?
Yeah.
That's the next topic. We'll get to that.
Okay. Sorry, I jumped the gun.
Bloody hell, Joe. Chuff me. Blocking cloud streaming apps for things like video games that would lower the need for more expensive hardware. This is something that Microsoft, Xbox and Epic Games have been having a massive issue with. So they've been probably pushing for this big time. Suppressing the quality of messaging between the iPhone and competing platforms like Android. Yes. Green and blue bubbles and all that bull.
Yep, they've created the monster that is that, yeah.
Limiting the functionality of third-party smartwatches with its iPhones, making it harder for Apple Watch users to switch from the iPhone due to compatibility issues. Exactly.
Yep. Closed
that
garden.
is a massive issue. Yeah, you can't use like a Pixel Watch with it. Like,
and not just smartwatches, even buds. I remember in the past, every single Samsung bud had an application that you could, fully take advantage of the features. I think they stopped that. You cannot have everything. You can just pair it, but that's it.
Yeah, Samsung do something similar, to be fair, with theirs. You get functionality, but not full functionality.
There's a couple of features that are sort of locked down to Galaxies, like the ECG and stuff like that, with the watches. So, well, at least the watches actually work. Like the core functionality all works for the most part.
Yeah.
So yeah, blocking third-party developers from creating competing digital wallets with tap-to-pay functionality for the iPhone. Yeah.
Yeah. Why can't you use Google? Can you use Google Pay on Apple?
No. They would never.
Whereas Samsung allows you to do Google Pay if you don't want to use Samsung Wallet.
But Samsung Pay doesn't even work in most places in the UK, at least. I remember wanting to try it, and I think it was not working.
Samsung Wallet's better for passes, I find. It's quite good for that.
So yeah, it'll be interesting to see if anything actually comes of it. I mean, something should, but I think that the store issue definitely, charging companies
30%. Yeah, that's crazy.
30%, and then not allowing them to have their own stores on there. Then obviously taking a big cut as well from subscriptions within those services and things as well. Like if you, for instance, if you're on Twix and you decide to buy premium, if you do it through your iPhone, it's like, it's quite a bit more expensive.
Really?
A lot more, yeah.
Quite a lot. Because they take a cut. I mean, obviously Google does a similar thing as well, to be fair. Manos is distracting us with doggos.
Yeah, sorry. He's just came on my feet, and he was just starting to bite stuff. So I was like, "Come here."
But yeah, and I think iMessage is probably one of the bigger things, because I think that the classing it now a little bit as like it's been used in an abusive way, especially with minors, let's say.
Yeah.
They're using it as a bullying tactic as well. So it's and that happens
closed.
a lot. That does happen a lot. Mike Peppertex is over in the US, so he sort of understands all of this stuff as well. Messaging stuff and pay stuff is changing. RCS is coming, will change messaging. You can accept payments with PayPal on an iPhone now. That's bloody good. A couple of us are doing that now too, slowly rolling out. Yeah. But I think this is the thing, is that Apple's having to change because they are being forced to change, and they know they're going to have to do it. So, if it allows me to drop in and out of the iPhone ecosystem a little bit easier, I'm more likely to use an iPhone and other Apple products. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think sometimes, even though they're quite happy to close people in, it then puts other people off.
Oh, it definitely puts me off.
Yeah, I mean, Max here, and I'm well put off now.
Come on. Am I that off-putting?
No, not at all.
I mean, I should be off-putting. That would do me well.
How are we doing?
Hi, guys. Hi, everyone. Yeah, just managed to jump in, but I'm glad I have.
Stuck in.
I have green dots
There he
on
is.
my head, but yeah.
You're all right, mate. You're all right. You just look like you're at some sort of disco.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So we're just talking about the Apple. The U.S. government suing Apple to do with its monopoly.
Yeah. I mean, Apple's on my list, so.
Yes. Well, everybody on your list should be sued.
Yep, big time.
Even Manos.
Well, what did I do?
But gently.
Sue him gently. Okay.
Yeah. Good to see you guys.
That reminds me of Tenacious D. A Tenacious
I know.
D track that I like.
Mate, I listened to it earlier. I'm not even kidding. I'm not even kidding.
I love them. I
love that
them.
track.
Singing along to it in the shower, mate.
Yeah. Zanzibar.
I have moved back and forth between Apple and Android and currently use both without really any major. I mean, I do MPT, but it's difficult to sort of get engrossed in the Apple ecosystem with like subscription services and things, because you can't then use them over on Android. If you get an Apple One account and you're getting like TV and your storage, or everything else, you can't really use it. Whereas you can use Google stuff. So I don't know why I'm getting an echo.
Yeah, I think it's Mac.
Really? That would be strange.
Yeah, it's like a bit of feedback from us.
Yeah.
Maybe
Because before we didn't have it. That's why.
Okay,
Oh,
let's see how about now. Will it be better?
Hello.
Or not?
No.
Still here. Is it?
I can hear
Very
it.
slightly. It's not as bad.
That's strange because I have like sound on my earphones. And
Hello. Hello.
Could be me. I wonder if it's me. Let me. Weird.
I'll mute for a second and then check if it's still on.
No, it's all good now.
Okay. Yeah, now it's fine.
Yeah. I can't hear anything.
And
hello.
How about now?
Yeah, I can hear it now. That's weird.
It's only very slight though.
It's quite quiet. It's not
I'll be
too
back
bad.
in a sec.
But Mac's like, I don't like issues.
Yeah. That's another thing for his list.
Exterminate.
Sound issues.
Yeah, how is it now? I
Hello.
hope it will be better.
Yeah, it's fine now. Cannot hear anything. Cool.
Okay.
Did you work out what it was?
So I had the ear.
It's the monitoring.
Connected to the audio output in my microphone, and now I plugged into the hub. So
Weird, that,
that's better.
Daz thinks Mac's in space. which is fair. It does look a little bit like it's in space. I mean, it's kind of weird color for space, but could be in a nebula of some sort, I suppose. How do we have competition while asking for the experiences to be the same across iPhone and other phones and Macs and Windows and Linux? I think you don't necessarily have to say that everything has to be available. I think it's more the core stuff.
Yeah.
It's more the core stuff, and I think there's still plenty of areas for them to sort of differentiate.
Yeah, because if you look at the Pixel as best take, I mean, that probably will roll out to everyone eventually, but
Well, knowing
at the
Google,
moment, it's exclusive to Pixel. It's things like that, isn't it? But having your core messaging closed off, your products closed off to just being used with iPhones, that's what it's all about, isn't it? Or is it?
Yeah, I mean, I just think like, you know, storage and, you know, messaging and all that sort of stuff. I just those core experience things, things that you're paying subscriptions for, especially. You should be able to transfer. I mean, Google has like I say, Google has everything available on iPhone already. Like I use my YouTube Music, I use Google Photos, I store all my photos on Google storage anyway.
Why can't you use an Apple Watch with an Android device?
Yeah, they want you to have an iPhone, even though I've read somewhere that there was a project at some point that they wanted to have the Apple Watch working with Android phones, but they scrapped it because they were worried about privacy risks.
That's what they say.
That old chestnut.
That's what they say, yeah. I understand business-wise, it makes perfect sense that they want everything to be working only with their stuff, so they can maximize, you know, the money they make. It makes perfect sense. But this just doesn't feel, you know, as ethical because they have the means and the power, the money to be able to do that. But with that, they don't allow smaller players. I don't know if you remember Pebble. I think Pebble eventually was absorbed by Fitbit. I'm not sure. I don't remember well. But imagine if they didn't allow Pebble to exist on the iPhone originally, to have, you know, the app and sync them. You know, they would have died way earlier, even though they died anyway. But still, the point is that they don't give anyone else a chance, and this is how they become a monopoly by not allowing anyone to do anything.
Yeah, for me, it's a bit similar to Microsoft case from like the 15 or 20 years past, right? When Microsoft had a lot of issues with those anti-monopoly,
antitrust things by EU and stuff, wasn't it?
Not even EU, but worldwide. I mean,
everyone.
Yeah, looking at Poland, it was not about users not having any options, because even like 15 years ago, someone in Poland could go and buy a MacBook, they could go and install Linux, right? But it didn't change the fact that, for example, whenever you wanted to do anything like government related, all the software that you could use was solely Microsoft Windows based, and there was basically no alternatives. And it's also kind of similar to the case of Microsoft Office for me. I mean, Office was, at least for me, like always there as a group of productivity apps, and everyone was just so used to using the Office that it had like a total monopoly, right? No one could even stand close other than like maybe one or two LibreOffice or anything like that, any alternatives like that. And being able to like jump in as a default option for users, since they are like just entering the world of using electronics and using software, and making people like get used to only your side of the story, only your type of software, and not letting them use anything else on, for example, device that they bought. This results like in a few years when they are growing up, when they are making their own like financial or hardware decisions or software decisions, they won't even think about getting anything else, right? And Microsoft Office had like a very similar level of usage for a long time, and I believe that it was like the web-based Office versions and the Google Docs and stuff like that that like slowly is showing people that you don't exactly need Microsoft Office, right? And I believe that this thing that is going on right now in the US is to force Apple to show people that there are other options available. For example, I've seen a lot of discussions, for example, on Twitter, Twix, when people were defending like the Apple's decision for that like was in place for a long time, that you couldn't choose a different browser than Safari as a default browser, right? Or even now when they are accepting this, even now when you can switch to a different browser as a default, each of its I'll leave Apple alone.
You've been told,
multi-million company. We should like be sorry for them. Even now all those browsers need to use the same engine, right? And I've seen a lot of conversations of that people were saying that, okay, but why would I use any other browser? Safari is the best, right? Safari is the best browser you can have. And people don't even know that there are alternatives, that there may be better alternatives. And I believe that, let's be honest, the only like real thing that's behind it really in the Department of Justice in the US is like something related to money. they can do that. They want to make a money grab, but in reality, I think that the only the best thing that can lead people, the best thing that can be a result of this is to be able to open up messaging and open up Apple services a bit, so people wouldn't be like forced to use Apple devices whenever they would like to use any Apple services. And now I'll shut up. Sorry.
No, it's a good point.
No, great points.
But do shut up.
I was okay. Dan is officially joining my list.
I'm okay. Yes, I'm on the list.
NPT says, "Are Gmail and Google search monopolies then? Other choices exist but aren't as good." But it's not the same, is it? Because you can pick others, whereas Apple don't allow you to. That's the thing.
Once you're in that ecosystem, if you're stuck in there and you've got like different bits of hardware and things, you've got subscriptions to certain things, you can't leave that ecosystem because it's where all your stuff is.
Let's put it this way: like the Ultra Watch is impressive, right? But I'm an Android user, so I can't buy that.
And the thing is, if you use Hotmail, if you use like Hotmail, bloody hell, Outlook, showing my age there, you can add a Gmail, you can add your Google Mail to an Outlook account to have it all feed into there anyway, if you really want to, things like that.
Yeah.
So I don't think it really works the same with.
Third party
Google search. Google search, on the other hand, that is, I would say, it is leaning towards that. And also, you've got Bing, but Bing's Bing, right?
Ask Jeeves. Oh, that was
Jeeves.
Bixby.
What a time to be alive. Daz is just giving me shit. I don't know why you think this is a carrot. I mean, fuck me. Aren't carrots orange? Oh, no, you fucking wear orange. Oh, never mind. Oh, my God. I'm moving on. Right. I see what he's saying now. If Apple wins, does the US government have to pay their legal fees? Probably not.
But the US government doesn't have its own money, right? People will pay for it.
Yeah, taxpayers' money. I saw somebody mention earlier as well in the in one of the Telegram groups that they were being a little bit sort of showed a tweet saying that it's a little bit sort of conspiratorial, but like could the US government just be doing it because they want backdoor access to iPhone messages and things? Because obviously it's closed off and they can't get access.
I don't think so. I mean,
if it is, they'll make an agreement.
if they were to get an access, they wouldn't be as vocal about it. They would push it behind the closed doors.
Maybe they've tried though, and it's not working.
Sep thinks that's the case. There's a conspiratorial mister.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think that this might be very optimistic on my side, but yeah, for a change, right? But there were lately some statistics about the market shares of mobile operating systems in the US, and iOS had like 90% or something like that. That it was, I mean, in the certain age group.
Yeah, it was 18
was,
to 20
yeah,
something. Yeah,
it was like people like,
90%.
yeah, it was around 90%,
Wow.
and who knows, maybe
That's crazy.
maybe someone at the steering wheel in the US, whomever may it be, because it's surely not Joe, but maybe someone got a bit scared that Apple having such a big influence on such a large group of young people that are getting into like the voting age, and that will like be building the economy and building the shape of the US right now. Maybe they are a bit scared that Apple has such a big influence over this group of people, because let's be honest, if Tim Cook will go out on the stage and say that this is good, this is bad, there will be a large group of people that will like blankly believe in this, right? And follow his follow his lead. So maybe that's one of the reasons that they might want to weaken Apple's position a bit in the young generation right now.
but it's very interesting at the same time, because from what I know from Chad and other people, that in schools they provide kids with iPads from a very young age in order to do their homework and stuff like that.
Oh wow!
So
not in UK.
We've had some of that in the UK as well. To be fair, I mean, I remember.
Yeah.
So you see, they hook them up from very young age, because I don't know if they can take them away from school. I'm not familiar with how it works.
They can, yeah.
So if they can, they all have accounts, so they use iMessage to communicate with each other already from a very young age, before they even get themselves an iPhone.
I mean, my brother-in-law, when he was at school, he had an iPad still uses it, but as a communicator, that sort of thing, for school and whatever else.
School is just one thing, right? The whole family around you, all your
of
peers,
course,
all the peoples in the class.
But then he has an iPad at home as well.
Don't get me started
that's
with
what he's
kids,
used
though.
to, you know.
My daughter calls my tablet an iPad, and I go a bit funny with her when she says that.
Well, that's like any old person though. So they just call them iPads, or you know.
She says iPad, right? And I say it's not an iPad. She goes laptop. That's the second thing she says. I'm like, it's not a laptop either.
You are not a child of mine.
She does it to wind me up, I'm sure. Then she goes iPad again.
You get a lot of Chromebooks in schools as well, though, to be fair. But
Yes. Well, they're made
that is
for
the cheap option, you know.
Yeah.
It's good for that sort of thing.
Perfect for that. Security-wise as well.
Did you see Carl Pay's tweet? Apple is the reason nothing didn't launch in the States because of their massive influence.
I mean,
no, I didn't see that.
I didn't actually.
I didn't see it, but I cannot blame them really. I mean, what chance do you have right now against Apple? They
in the US in particular.
In the US, I'm looking about the US. I mean, they have already swung their shot with the iMessage coming to nothing phones, which was like a total disaster. But
that was a very bad move.
Yeah, it was. And to be honest, this is in my opinion, this is the only chance that any other brand can have when it comes to competing with Apple. And even if, for example, the lawsuit that's going on right now, in combination with the changes forced by EU about RCS, if all of this will result in like iMessage opening to other platforms or like end of green bubble, this won't change anything overnight, but in my opinion, it might have the chance to influence a change over time when when more and more young people wouldn't have to be like strictly using Apple to not feel excluded. It wouldn't change anything overnight, like I said, but in time, it might like level things up a bit because right now, I mean, it's mostly a US thing. Luckily, those green bubble, blue bubble issue, but still, it's frightening whenever I see some examples how people can react to people using an Android phone.
Not just kids,
it's like crazy.
adults as well.
Young adults, especially.
Not even young adults. I mean, Juan, some gadget guy, I think he mentioned a case of it with, I don't know if it was with his wife or something, something to do with some parents at school or something. And they mentioned the fact that they didn't, that his wife didn't have an iPhone or something.
Yeah, exactly. And even if you look at people's reactions for this lawsuit, there is such a lot of people commenting like, "Oh, people are just like going over Apple because people can't afford to get Apple stuff, right?"
And does my head in that.
Yeah, that they don't even realize that there are people that aren't using Apple not only because they can't afford Apple things. I mean, I was laughing when there was a guy conducting some interviews with girls on the streets about like, what if a 10 out of 10 guy will pull out his Android phone, right?
Yeah, the thing that I shared.
And there was a girl like holding something like iPhone XR or iPhone 10
No,
or
she was
something
using
like
an
that.
8 Plus. It was an 8
Maybe
Plus.
even a Plus, saying that if he's so broke that he cannot afford an iPhone, and the guy was like standing with the, I believe it was Samsung Z Fold 4 at the time, a device that cost like 4 times more than the device that she was using. And
crazy.
People don't even realize that there is like world outside of Apple that's comparable in quality, in features, and in pricing, right? They just think that, okay, there's Apple and there's like a low-end budget device coming from Android. And I believe that this might be the changing this mindset might be the best thing coming out of this lawsuit for users, at least.
It will take time because besides the broke argument, for me, what was very concerning and disturbing, it was when they were talking about, oh, why does he have an Android? Why is it green? This feels weird. It's off. It's a red flag. I cannot trust that person. And I was like, what are they on about? What do you mean you cannot trust it?
This shows a lot of the problems with people these days.
This is actually kind
why
of useful.
Relationships are very difficult to actually attain.
This is actually kind of useful because if you see someone behaving like that, you know that you should just
of course
walk away.
And
that's
definitely
fast.
It's
run
just,
if you have to.
It's just I don't understand who started this, like as a movement you want to call it, or as a mindset. I don't know. I think
it seems to be part of the there's a general sort of push for conformity these days, in many regards. Well, so I think younger people especially are more prone to that sort of thing.
I mean, we cannot ignore the fact that Apple has put
a good product
really good products out there.
Yeah.
I mean, we were laughing about the iPad before, but okay, now it has shifted a bit, and even Android can offer a good tablet. But go back 5-6 years, after the big failure of Android-based tablets, there wasn't any other choice that would make sense other than
Yeah,
getting an iPad if someone needed a tablet,
Oh
right?
yeah, they were poor, weren't they?
that's true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Apple was in the position and still is in the position, albeit a bit lot less than before, to go on the stage and do something that could be perceived as unpopular or a step that no one else would take and pull it off. For example, deleting the headphone jack, right? Or dropping the charger. If any other manufacturer would go
Everyone
out and
copies.
yeah,
Yeah, they would be
everyone copies.
ridiculed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everyone copies, but no one would
But that
be
feeds
brave
into
enough
that just
to
feeds
go
into
out.
the premise that Apple are the ones that are the best.
Yeah,
They lead
yeah,
everyone.
yeah.
And in a way, it's true because everyone just seems to want to try and copy them, especially Samsung. So, you know,
They all
Samsung's
copy
also
each
on my
other, to be
list.
fair, don't they?
the
Yeah.
list is getting long, mate. The list is
Yeah.
getting long.
They
mean-
all do copy each other. And what is funny that everybody says, "Oh, everybody's copying Apple. Apple's best." Apple has the least amount of features.
Not
and,
everyone copies. Not
and
everyone.
okay, and they're behind in hardware now. It's just yeah. Never mind.
Apple
Gonna
hasn't been about hardware for a long time, in my opinion.
yeah.
And I will say one thing: they usually come up with features or idea for how to use some feature in a very convenient way, right? How about like selecting an object from a photo by long pressing it right now, which is like
Great feature.
still not on Pixel. God damn it, not
It's
on
on
Pixel.
OnePlus 12.
Yeah, but it's very convenient, and it was something that was implemented first on the iPhone, right? Or
Samsung.
like the what was it? The auto portrait mode right now. I remember that this being like such a simple thing, but it was so useful. I liked using it so much, and other phone manufacturers are copying right now. So they have the tendency to like create something even not as impressive when it comes to hardware, but very like tuned for the end users when it comes to usability and features that are built around this thing. I
Well,
mean,
this strategy Google have copied now, haven't they? Really?
yeah,
They're trying
they,
to go down that route.
they are
Trying.
trying to. They are trying to.
Trying
but
to.
I wouldn't say that.
We've had discussions on this.
Yeah.
Google's also on my list.
Yes.
but yeah, for example, I wanted to say one thing. Yeah, when the 14 Pro and Pro Max came out, and we've got shown the dynamic island, I was like, phew, what's this? But the way that they introduced those features, this like quick tapping and changing between those apps, I was like hooked. I was okay. I'm not too fond of the hardware itself, but I really like how they were able to
There
build
to
features
cover
around
it
it.
up. So cover up their inadequate design.
I don't know.
Yes.
I like
Ugh.
the dynamic island. Call me weird. I actually like
Weird.
it. Yeah. And
You are
especially-
weird, and I am
We
also
do
weird.
call you weird every day, mate.
Not only weird.
They especially
hour.
when you have stuff like ordering from Deliveroo, Uber Eats, you name it, and you have the live stuff there. I don't know. I like it. Or
Yeah, and-
timers, music. I don't know.
I mean, it could be there even without the dynamic island.
I know it could, but if they just went out the stage and showed like the big pill and told us, okay, now the sensors are here and you have like the screen
I
around.
mean, it's almost a bit like
it.
having a ticker display, like a bit like how LG used to do it on the V20.
The only thing with
right?
it though is Dynamic Island. It's hard, like gymnastics, to get to the top there
Yes.
if you want to interact with it.
You have
Especially
small
if you've got
hands.
Pro
That's
Max.
like anything on an iPhone Pro Max because you
Yeah.
have to do all your navigating at the top.
True.
That's my only gripe with it, really, because it's quite.
Yeah.
It looks very good and it is functional if
Yeah.
you can get your thumb up there.
Yeah.
That's what she said.
And they've done it on purpose
Mhm.
because for them the dynamic island and the notch before it, they're 1000% for brand recognition. Like you see it from afar, iPhone. You don't have to second guess. Whereas with the
Again, Pixel's
Android
copied
phone,
that at the back.
at the back, yeah. But in the front, all Androids they're the same. So you're like, yeah, unless even if it's you know Waterfall. This site, come on, how is it called? Curved Edge. You cannot tell which brand it is. It could be Samsung, it could be OnePlus, it could be whatever.
It's very easy
Yeah.
to identify an iPhone, no
Yeah.
matter which
brand
iPhone it
recognition.
is.
Yeah, brand recognition is always a big part of Apple's image.
Yeah.
That's true.
It goes first
Incredibly
for them.
smart. Yeah, very good marketing team.
Yeah, and also I want to agree with what Michael was saying, that they do a lot of things silently, and especially with the accessibility stuff, they put a lot of emphasis on those. And they sometimes they don't advertise them as much, or people I guess don't care as much. Especially for hearing aids, where the AirPods Pro too, they're great for people with hearing
What's
disabilities.
Reachability Plus?
Reachability
Plus Dynamic Island.
Okay.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Reachability is in like bringing it drop
Reachability
down.
and Dynamic Island.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Well-
where it brings the dynamic island further down. Yeah, I've seen that. I've played with that once. Yeah.
Oh, not used
Joe
that.
is so confused.
Yeah.
What Michael means is that you can use the reachability gesture to bring down your half of your screen lower and then interact with what should be the
Oh,
dynamic
okay,
island.
like one-handed mode.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he meant
but-
reachability and dynamic island.
But it looks way worse
Combo.
than one hand, if you ask me. It just cuts your screen in half, and it just
Oh.
looks weird. I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
yeah.
To be honest, Samsung has the best one-handed mode when it just like makes the whole screen smaller, like 4.5 inch, and you can see the whole screen.
Yeah.
Still, this is the best implementation. And Oppo has a
Xperia is pretty
sweet-
good one-handed anyway, but
Yeah,
you know,
Just saying.
Oppo has a sweet gesture that it's not making your
Gotta get it
screen
in.
smaller. It just takes every icon of the screen and just shrinks it down, everything on the bottom of the screen. It's really cool. I love using
Oppo
it.
do some really good stuff, actually.
Yep.
yeah, well, all the
They do.
OnePlus software is pretty good now as well. Doing a lot of
It's
things with
basically-
the
They're the same picture.
yeah. Point at each other.
OnePlus has always been pretty good with software, though, haven't they? That's one thing they've been renowned for, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just they used to have poor cameras.
Pretty average.
That's
I mean,
what people would
average
say.
cameras more so. Yeah, just
Yeah, that's what people
nothing
would say.
spectacular, but at the same time, you weren't really buying a OnePlus for the cameras. It's kind of how like nothing
Thing is,
phone
Dave
is now.
West-
You're not buying nothing phones for cameras. You're buying
Pictures
it for
Dave West's got from
general.
old OnePluses.
Hey,
Amazing.
look, if you can use a smartphone camera,
Yeah.
if you can use a camera fairly well, you can get good pictures out of pretty much anything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if you
that's
know the
true.
limitations.
Yeah, and especially if you edit afterwards. Yeah.
We're in
You
a
can
place
do-
now where, like, the hardware on a mid-ranger is pretty damn amazing.
Mid-rangers more than most people need.
Yeah.
Exactly. I don't
honestly.
remember the guy's name. He's a Snapdragon insider. He's currently He's currently posting some pictures with the Samsung A35 or something similar. I can't remember the exact model. And they're pretty darn good. I was like, great job.
I had the A33 a couple of years
Samsung's
back.
A range
and
is the best
some
A
of
range
the
they've had.
some of the photos were actually pretty banger. Like I was surprised. I mean, most of the time it was the typical, 5-second shutter lag and colors that made you want to just gouge your eyes out. But sometimes it actually nailed it in such a way I was like, wow, that's actually really, really good. Even on the A13 that I had.
Guys, I need to drop. Sorry.
Don't
I
drop
need to
dead.
run.
Please don't.
Max bedtime.
Yeah, I need to run, but thank you so much for having me. And it was a pleasure, as always.
Yes. Enjoy.
Cheers, Max.
Enjoy. See you
next time. Bye-bye.
In a bit.
Bye-bye.
We'd off to see June 2 again.
Again?
Again. Don't blame him. It's a cracking film. Absolutely cracking film.
Still need to watch it. Oh, well.
Oh, man. One of the
I've not
best
seen
films
one
I've
yet.
seen in years.
I've not seen one.
OnePlus, one animal is really nice. Swipe on the left, right, bring all the icons together and shrink some. That's nice. Mid ranges are getting better. Yeah, I mean, I kind of feel like mid ranges should be even better than they are now, but we're still not sort of bumping performance up in the way that we should be. But hey ho. Can't have it all, I suppose. But when it comes to mid-ranges, you have to be a little bit more particular about what you want.
Yes.
Whereas when you're buying a flagship, generally you're getting pretty much you're getting everything good, really, at least. But when it comes to mid-ranges, you're either deciding, do you want camera specifically, or you're happy about just having mediocre cameras and having everything else being quite nice.
See, on that point, Dan, I would urge people to actually put some more thought in what they actually want, and not just buy the flagship just because it's flagship. Because
so many people don't need flagships, man.
100%.
It's crazy.
But the average person doesn't get a
Pixel, like people buying like even like Pixel 8s or whatever, even though they're not like flagship level. You could buy a Pixel 8A when that comes along, or even a 7A, and you'll get pretty much the same experience.
It's a fantastic device.
For most people, they wouldn't even be able to tell the difference.
No, they wouldn't tell the difference. In fact, they might say, "Oh, the 8 Pro's too big." That's the difference they will notice.
Yeah.
It's crazy how much this $349 phone brings for the typical use. Fluid UI. Mate, nothing UI is so smooth. Like, even on the Nothing Phone 1, when I had that, my God, it was like one of the smoothest phones I've used in terms of animations and everything. I only had like
I like their unique look as well.
Had a 778G in a mid-ranger.
Yeah. It feels fun again. It made smartphones feel fun again. I'll say that.
I just wish they hadn't gone for the sort of iPhone look at the same time with the button placements and everything. It just feels very
that's really why they didn't launch in the US.
Replay. Yeah, maybe. Feels more smooth than my S23 Plus. I had the same feeling. Like the Nothing Phone 1 felt better than some of the Samsungs I've been using. It's kind of weird.
Well, that doesn't say much.
Didn't like the haptics.
The Samsung ones always struggle a bit with animations, fluidity, and all that. I don't know. I always felt I need to do the maintenance to clean up, I don't know, RAM or whatever to make them feel.
I think it's just one
again.
UI.
Yeah, it's heavy. I don't know.
It is pretty heavy. It's a pretty heavy skin, even though it's not as bad as TouchWiz.
But I'll give them that. It has great features, though. I'll give them that.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, this is the thing. If you want features, you have a heavier skin because you've got more features. It's just how it is.
Yeah.
But I think Google strikes up a good balance, to be honest.
Yeah, I think so. That's why we like Pixels, right? The Pixel launcher is clean, isn't it?
Daz says he has no idea what phone to get next. You only got a Pixel recently, didn't you? It's not that long since you got. I mean, it could be a while actually, but I remember you getting a Pixel. So good phones are getting cheap. Cheap phones are getting good. Marquez, that wisdom coming out there, cracking stuff. I hope that wasn't too sarcastic.
I don't know. Personally, I'm just waiting for July, August, whatever, so I can get my next phone, most likely. Which this time is going to be OnePlus 12 or Nothing Phone 3. Depending how the Nothing Phone 3 will be like. If it has a nice telephoto, I may give them a try. Because they look pretty interesting, I'm not going to lie. Even the Nothing 2A now looks, I don't know, cute and fun. But I just want the telephoto because I'm a sucker for them.
I feel like Manos needs to try a Sony though, don't you?
I'd like him to at some point. Be interesting. See, I mean, I think once we all meet up, which I really think we should do at some point.
Yeah, 100%.
And that way, if we've all got different phones, we can all.
Yeah, I've played with a Sony in a store, and I always remember being impressed by the screen, the display. Always getting so sharp.
It's a nice display, but the thing is, it runs in 1080p most of the time. So even though it's a 4K display, it's not actually displaying 4K.
Yeah.
Unless you are actually running 4K content, then it displays in 4K.
I just remember it being very sharp.
Though it is sharp.
Yeah,
it is sharp. Yeah, it's good. But the thing I always found quite annoying when I've been to a few O2 stores, and I'd go to the Xperias, and I'd noticed that the phone was running at 60 hertz. So I'd turn on the high refresh rate.
Yeah, I just want to answer to Michael. I can see in the chat he's saying, Where am I from? So I'm from Greece, but I live in the UK.
Bloody Greek.
Yeah, I've been here for 12 years now, not going anywhere.
Bloody Brit. Either Nothing Phone 2A Dimensity. I mean, I really want the Vivo X100 Pro because I think the Dimensity 9300 is very good competition for the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3.
And the cameras are insane.
They are insane.
When it
They are
works,
good.
because I've seen some overprocessing sometimes where I'm like, I don't like it.
Raw mode.
But when it hits, it's great.
I've seen some great shots from it, definitely.
Yeah.
Me want the Sony Xperia Pro I. Pro I, not worth getting now, really, I don't think. But
Not now.
that design, I think that design of Xperia with that sort of centered camera module rather than it being to the edge and having that sort of bigger round bit in the middle, I think that is actually the best looking Xperia design yet.
Yeah,
still,
definitely.
I would say.
With that, with the texture of the 1 Mark V would be nice.
Oh man,
like a hybrid between the two. Yeah,
that'd be nice. That'd be good. Daz is buying a weapon off of eBay. Self-defense weapon.
Why not?
Why not? Why not?
He's buying that Nokia device, you know, the one that's rugged.
They're all bloody rugged, mate, from back then. I mean, 32 tens, 33 tens, you could use them as hammers.
Well, talking of Sony, do you remember I mentioned to you about, I totally forgot I had an old Cybershot one. I think it was the K800i.
You mentioned it, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why I totally forgot about it. And I saw a picture and all the memories came back. Because it had like, you could cover the camera up with like a thing that slid up and down.
Ah, okay.
And that said Cybershot on it. And it had like a little button in the middle that you could navigate with.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember. Yeah, the little button. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
I had it in brown.
Brown.
They don't do many brown phones, do you?
No, they don't.
There's probably a reason for that. But
brown brick.
Yeah, it was quite nice. I liked it.
I mean, I had like I think it was like a W580i or something. I can't remember what it is, but it was like
Walkman
white
phone.
slide up Walkman phone.
Is that with the orange buttons?
Orange buttons in white. It was white with orange buttons, and most of my buttons were cracking. They'd crack, and then
really?
I actually ended up losing some buttons.
Ugh.
So like the back button was the first thing to go, and it fell out, and you just couldn't use it anymore. And then
that's not like Sony. Like, they normally.
So it was funny because like every time I went into something and I wanted to go back, I couldn't go back, so I had to press the power button to go all the way back to the start, the main menu, and then go back in. And eventually, all the other buttons started to fail as well. So like eventually, I just had to replace it. So I think I can't remember if that was when I first got my first. I got my first Samsung after that, I think.
I had Sammy
Taco.
S7 Edge.
So what do we think about Gemini apparently going to iPhone's going to be using Gemini?
I'm not surprised, given they gave the not Magic Eraser, the Subject Eraser and all those other Google features. Not surprised at all, and it's a good thing because they already have such a large database already built, so they can capitalize on that. Because I've been reading and hearing that Apple has acquired many AI companies in order to.
Well, from what I understood about it was, it's not necessarily that it's going to be just like Gemini releasing on iPhone. It's that iPhone's going to have its AI thing, but powered by Gemini.
Oh, yes, so it would be something similar to what Samsung does. That they gotcha.
Yeah. Which I think is quite interesting.
Will be interesting. I'm sure they're going to mark it as the revolutionary that they built it. They did everything. The best thing ever.
It's like the Samsung event, though, isn't it? Like it's showing circles to search and all that sort of thing. It's like, well, it's Google's, not really Samsung.
Yeah, in partnership with Google.
Yeah.
Regardless, it's a step towards the right direction. The iPhone has been back on many modern stuff, I would say, from that regard, especially for photos and camera. So that'll be very interesting to see what they're going to do with it. So we will see, and if it's going to be, device based or cloud based, because then we will finally see the power of the A chips being, I don't know, impactful in a
Do
way
they have
that
MPUs in the
I think so.
age at this? I'm sure they probably do.
I just
I'll have
don't
to
think they've
look at the
really been
architecture of-
utilized that much.
No, Series pants.
The series is worthless. Yeah,
But at least the thing though, if they do release that, is that something that they limit to new iPhones, or do they give it to some previous iPhones?
Are you joking? Of course, it's gonna be only the latest iPhone. When did Apple give anything to
Hey,
the
you
previous
never know.
models?
There's been stranger things happen.
The only way I can see this happening for previous iPhones if they charge a monthly fee for it. That would be the only way.
Which they
well,
probably
it looks like it might be. I mean, Google's charging.
Yeah.
It'd be crazy. I mean, Apple's going to have to pay for it.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to charge for it as well, I would imagine. Maybe it's included in an Apple One account.
Could be, yeah, could be. But that's realistically, that's the only way I can see them doing it, because they didn't even give previous iPhones the HDR update, the same one that the 15 series have. They didn't give the 80% battery charge. They didn't give a lot of things. So they're like,
they're pretty terrible.
Yeah, you want the latest thing? Buy the new iPhone.
But it's software.
Yeah, but you
like
need the latest
service,
chip,
right? It's a service. So maybe it's like Apple TV or like Apple Music. Like it'll just work.
We shall see. I don't know. I have
It'll be limited to certain devices either way, even if it did. But I'd imagine only from the last 2-3 years, if
at best. Yeah.
But
Apple needed to do something, though, didn't they?
This is what Truce has said here. I just find this whole AI phase in phones isn't great. Agreed.
I mean, it just started. We will see how it's going to evolve.
The thing is, it hasn't just started. It's only just started being talked about. It started a while back, really. But yeah, I mean, think about the computational photography is AI.
Yeah.
We just weren't using the word AI.
Well, let me phrase it differently. It's been more, I don't know, people are able to understand it better because they can actually...
How it affects them and what it does for them.
And they have some sort of applicability in the way they edit pictures or videos or anything. Whereas before, with photography, you would just click, the picture, and it would done everything in the back end. Now you have some sort of control over it, or at least you can play around, with I don't know, different options.
Which we feel comfortable as humans, don't we? If we're controlling the AI,
and also it gives you some sort of, I don't know, creative control as well, especially with the Magic Editor on the Pixel, right? Or even on the Samsung. You want to make something bigger, you can remove something, you choose what to do. It's not a recommendation from the phone or from the cloud or whatever. There's no preset. You have control of what you want to do. So I don't know, I think this is why, at least personally, I like it, and especially with the Magic Eraser. It's just fun. The Ernie picture that I shared with you earlier on Telegram, he had the leash on. I deleted
the anus
it.
Picture.
The anus picture. I didn't even think about it because it was so cute. He was against the sunset. I was like, oh, how cute, blah, blah, blah. And you guys ruined it.
Hey, I didn't start it. Just to be clear, right?
It just drew the eye straight away.
It was not even at the, in rule of threes that draw your attention. Oh, well.
I think what MPT says here is interesting, that maybe they make a trade instead of Google paying 20 billion every year to be the default search engine. They get Gemini instead. Maybe there'll be some sort of deal going on. I mean, either way, I think Apple's going to end up paying.
Ooh, Michael said something very cool, that Google should license their call screening to carriers. That'd be great. And they can start with iPhone, which is horrible. It's a mess. The spam calls, the scammers, all that is just a mess.
But if they give it to the carriers, surely it'll just automatically be
go to everyone.
done.
That's for sure. Yeah,
and then you won't have to mess around with doing anything on your device. It's just done.
Yeah,
most of the carriers do have some kind of protection, spam protection. I know O2 do.
Yeah. I think. Boy, I am exhausted on Apple stuff, man. Like, Christ. Just, I don't know what it is with iPhone stuff. Like, it does bore me. Sep though, getting his you miss having a Pixel, but he's getting a Pixel. He's getting a refurbished 7 Pro.
Yeah, that's a good way to go, actually.
Yeah, great device. Great device.
Good phone. Good phone.
I really enjoyed the 7 Pro.
Me too. I wish they had the Pro controls from then, and it's a shame that they didn't push like.
They should have just added it.
They should have just added it now. I don't.
You know what Neil will say? G-Cam.
But the trouble is that, like we were saying earlier, Google are trying to be a bit more like Apple now.
Everyone, yeah, they just.
So what Google would have done in the past would have added all of the Pro controls to all of the Pixels.
Yeah.
It just would have done it. It just happened.
Yeah.
But now it's like, oh, we need to actually differentiate, and
you want the latest and greatest, buy the latest.
You gotta buy the best if you want it, and then if you want the next phone to get these features, you've got to buy it.
Exactly, yeah.
Which I'm pretty miffed about. I mean, I did do that little write-up about it as well. But
with the Pixel 8, yeah. And it makes me wonder what they're going to do with the Pixel 9 series, that it's going to make them
Pixel
stand
Fold
out.
Was the worst thing about it, though. It's like the amount of money they cost.
I still can't believe that's not on there. I mean, I did whip up that meme and just throw it at them.
Yeah.
Which probably hasn't got me in the good books, I'll be honest. But I thought it was all right. It seemed quite popular to everybody but Google. But yeah, it was just a tweet where they were putting about a circle to search on Pixel 7 and 7 Pro, and I just threw like the Star Wars meme and with Anakin and Padme. Like on Pixel Fold 2, right? Right?
Eventually, who knows?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. But it's just kind of crazy that, I mean, that should have been the first device to sort of get it.
True.
Should be like, it's now on Pixel Fold. Oh, and Pixel 7 and whatever else.
Yeah.
Like, not, oh, look, it's on Pixel 7. What's the Pixel Fold? I don't know.
It'll be funny if Pixel 7a gets it before the Fold. That would be hilarious.
Yes, I did kind of do that.
He did.
I quote tweeted it and put it under their own tweet.
Yeah. Oh man. I don't know. They're not playing. They don't play nicely, and still we are almost April, and no news about Zoom Enhance. Yeah.
Dude. I mean, Zoom Enhance. I kind of feel like Xiaomi is the one doing that at the minute with their AI SP, whatever the fuck they call it. I can't remember what it's called. With this 14 Ultra that's just come out. It's like, it does, like, you can turn it on and off. And it sort of like clears things up at a distance, sort of like just gives it a bit more detail and stuff. It's actually quite impressive. Even if it looks like potato anyway, but like it just adds a bit more definition to things. It adds a bit more definition to it, and it's actually quite good.
And it would be very interesting if behind their Zoom Enhance is Google's, I don't know, computational stuff, similar to the Magic Eraser. They're using the same tech. Mac would know more about this, to be fair.
See, Snapdragon actually release loads of different features with their chipsets, and it's up to the OEMs to use it. So a lot of the stuff you see in these devices is actually by Snapdragon.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like the Stable Diffusion stuff in it and all that.
Yeah. Because the HM3 is capable of a lot of things.
It really is. There's a lot of. I mean, it all comes down to like the cameras and stuff as well. Like that. Yeah. That enables everything that you can do with the cameras.
But it's what the OEMs implement in their device, and that's why it's quite cool, because you see different things implemented in different devices.
Yep. I think we're probably about done. I think we've managed to talk. We didn't talk about anything Snapdragon X Elite, but
no.
I reckon there's not really that much more info out there. There's been some stuff to do with like comparing it to Intel on DaVinci Resolve with some masking thing, and some other benchmarky bits. But when we get the full release for that, when we get the full release for that, it'll get more interesting because we'll start getting devices announced soon as well. We know that there's, more Microsoft Surfaces on the way with Snapdragon X Elite, which will be
amazing.
Can't wait for that. I really want. I mean, I like Surface devices anyway, so that's probably probably the route I'll go down.
They are, yeah.
So we'll probably talk about that at a later date. But thanks everybody for popping in, hanging out, having a chat, and joining us, Phoneys, for Apple discussion. We'll be back next week. Yep. Until then, take it easy. Have a good weekend. We'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Bye. Thank you. And thank you, Joe.
My pleasure.